So while I'm introducing our guests, I'll ask you what's on your watch list for 2024. Let me know in the chat. And if you're watching this on a replay, let me know in the comments below. All right, so please join me in welcoming Simon Johnson from Socks on the Rocks. Simon, welcome.
Hi, Jermaine. Thanks for having me. Hi, everyone. Good evening. I hope to have a very good discussion with the LGI community tonight.
Yep. I think it'll be a good one. I've always thought your perspective on the market is interesting. The way you approach the opportunities that you see, just the conversations I've seen you have on Twitter in different groups, etc. So I think this will make for an interesting, discussion. So what would like to start with, if it makes sense for you, is just to help persons understand how uncomplicated it may be to select stocks for your portfolio, right? So we're talking about a watch list, but how do you typically look at the market? How do you look at investing, and what's your perspective on how persons can approach that side of things?
Yeah, so the market can be as easy as you want or as complex as you want. Uh, at the end of the day, when you're looking for securities to buy or stocks to buy, you're looking to buy low and sell high. So you're looking for something in a stock that will cause the price to go up over the time period that you have. Now, when I say as simple as possible, it can just be, you expect that this news and people react to this news positively when they get around to it at a certain point. It could be that you expect a company to perform better because Grace Kennedy is going to produce more Grace mackerel in the next quarter than they've ever done before, and Wysinco is going to produce more water than they've ever done before. So it really comes down to that. A very important part of the market is also understanding the psychology of the people that form it. Now, the market itself is a combination of hundreds, hundreds and hundreds of different people, thousands actually, looking to make buy or sell decisions. When somebody is buying, somebody is selling, right? So if you better understand the motivations behind why people buy or sell at a certain time, then you immediately have an advantage. A good way to keep track of this is to be a part of a community like Learn, Grow, Invest, where you have different people with different opinions coming together to speak about something, to agree, to disagree, etc. So that's that's how I'd start off there.
All right, cool. So for me, I focus a lot on my understanding of the company, right? Because I think with investing, and I try to have as concentrated, for lack of a better term, a portfolio as possible. And for me, that really means 10 or less, right? So what that means is that I
Hmm.
can't look at every single opportunity. And because I can't look at every single opportunity, I try to narrow that down, right? So are there industries that I think will do well in this particular climate? Are there companies that look to have good opportunities in terms of growth for their profits? Are there companies that may have a good narrative, right? Because we know that
Mm,
there's a side of the market that focuses on the story of the company, the sentiment of the company, and so if you have multiple companies performing well in terms of financial performance, it doesn't mean they'll all perform well in terms of their stock price. And so there are things that I'll look at to say, well, there are elements that I think that may work well together, including the environment, including the interest rates, including the outlook, to say, well, this may present an opportunity for me within the period that I'm investing in. Now, if it's a shorter term, then it's going to really be like as many things as I can find that can work in that short term to boost that performance. If it's
mm,
longer term, then I'm just looking at a solid company that you may think will be around 100 years from now, right? A very popular company for me that everybody knows me to talk about. One such company is Trans Jamaica, right? I've been talking about that company for the last couple of years. It's a very simple company to understand, right? It's a company that you expect that has the ability, for example, to raise rates each year, has the ability to possibly get ownership of other highways to increase their income. And it's as the car sales continue to increase, it bodes well that more people will drive. So those are three simple things that for me I'd be looking at to say, well, this may be a stock to watch. And just because it's on my watch list doesn't mean I'm gonna buy it. It may mean that I may look at it for a season and then I may say, well, this may present an opportunity for me, and then I may, do something from there, right? So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I look at it as well. I don't think of it as complicated or complex really, because I think it's important to watch how the company is performing because you want to minimize your risk of loss. So if it's a sound company and then all those other elements are working, then I think that gives me a good chance to make a return on my investment. For the ones that are a lot less sound, I won't call it the name, you're really now taking a risk that me personally I'm not comfortable with. Now there are companies that may do well on nothing else but one one pa- one particular thing or two, and I think to each his own. As long as you understand the risk you're taking, then that's where I say you want to be careful, because we've seen companies try to make it on things that aren't built on solid ground as I'd probably say. And so I think as an investor, especially if you're not as experienced, you want to be cautious but still understand that you can't make money without some form of risk. So hopefully that kind of
Yeah.
helps. And
Yeah.
so